Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the instant match reaction. Crystal Palace 2, Everton 3. What an incredible game of football. Well, I don't know if it was an incredible game of football. Just what a mad game of football down at Selhurst Park today. Everton leading 3 times. Being pegged back twice in quick succession. A game that at 2-2 felt like it was probably going to get away from us. And then this Ghana guy adding to the drama pops up on the 85th minute and gets a winning goal. 8 minutes, which we rarely saw out with any kind of issue. Defensive mistakes. Mykolenko getting another goal. Hitting the post, which led to the second goal. Decore cutting teams open like he was... a number 10 and had been for years. Just an unbelievable game. Just an unbelievable game. Obviously starting off in the first minute or so with Harrison crossing to Mykolenko, who leapt like a salmon to head home like Duncan Ferguson and give Everton the lead. And then soon after we were pegged back with a penalty, which I think was a penalty. I do think Branthwaite hung a leg out, and I just think he did catch him, and it was a penalty, and he's dispatched it. Why Jordan Pickford has felt like he doesn't have to dive for penalties anymore, I'm not sure, but that's 2-2 that he's just stood in the middle of the goal. Just trying to recreate. I suppose if he hadn't stood in the middle of the goal against Leicester last season, we might be a championship team. So fair play. Yeah, and then it was just a chaotic game, wasn't it? It was a chaotic game. It was defensively, we looked shambolic. We were letting Eze basically do what he wanted. He was just playing like he was on the schoolyard, and it was not embarrassing, but it was just a bit like get a grip of the game. And Eze threw himself over for another one where he thought he was going to get a penalty but actually got booked. And then soon after that, he probably should have been sent off. Or if he hadn't been sent off for that, he should have been sent off for another one. The ref looked at it on the VAR and has not give the penalty, and obviously had already booked him. So, and then later on, he does Decore, very similar to what Ashley Young done in the Merseyside derby. And once again, we are denied a sending off for a second bookable offence. And when you looked at it there, you're just thinking, why aren't they changing VAR? Why aren't they looking at the system and thinking of all the things that are wrong with VAR? Why aren't they looking at it so VAR can say, no, that second yellow that would have led to a red card, I think it was a yellow card. That's twice in 3 away games we've been done with that, by the way. And then just before our time, Eze clearly fouls Dwight McNeil, clearly fouls him, and the referee, I keep on saying manager, Mathew, the referee, knowing probably he would have to send them off if he gave a foul, just doesn't give a foul, even though it was a clear trip on the edge of the box, right on the edge of, right at half time. So Eze was very, very lucky, and it was no surprise that he was a little bit quieter in the second half. Don't get me wrong, he is a tremendous player, and you could definitely see him playing for Manchester City very soon. And listen, I'm not trying to sell him to Manchester City, because I'd like to see good players stay at the teams that are. But he's a very, very good player, and you could see him fit in at Manchester City massively. With the skills he's got, incredible skill set. Fair play to the player. That shows the level of talent that is out there across the UK. And a lot of the time we take off those edges, and I know people will be saying, yeah, he's a diver and stuff, but great talent, and I think a lot of the time we take away those rough edges. And he was amazing in the first half. He really was. So fair play to him. He should have been sent off, but fair play to him. Second half, obviously, we scored quite early on. Again, we'd made the sub at half time, and Ghana came on, and it was a wonderful shot by Ghana, or cross by Ghana, that led to the Mykolenko volleying in to hit the post. And there was Decore again. VAR tried to do its best to spoil the the joy, but it was given, and we go 2-1, sorry, and then it was all Palace, wasn't it? It was all Palace then, and they were knocking on the door, lots of balls into the box that we dealt with, and what's awful about this goal is it's Toffee. I don't understand. Toffee had a decent game, everything in the air he dealt with, but for some reason, he just leaves it. It's like he gets a shout, but even if he gets a shout, it shouldn't matter for me in that position. I don't think he does get a shout because Pickford is nowhere near that ball, so he's not shouting for it. And for some reason, he just lets it drop, and Edouard gets an easy tap in, and again, they looked at it for offside, but it looked, he was onside. And you just, for someone like Toffee, that's a big mistake. He doesn't normally make those mistakes. He normally just sees the danger and gets rid of it. So I was really surprised by that he allowed that moment to happen. Mistakes happen, and listen, him and Branthwaite, certainly Branthwaite was shaky today, very shaky. Eze upset him early on, and certainly with the penalty, he was shaky. The one which Eze died for, again, going to ground early, giving the defence, giving the referee something to think about. He was shaky all day. It was a different kind of game for him. But listen, it's a challenge, isn't it? He was better second half. He made some really good tackles second half and some good blocks. But defensively, we looked a little bit all over the place. I suppose if those two look upset, it makes the rest upset. And to be fair, I didn't think Ashley Young had a bad game. Michalenko scored his goal. I think he should have done better for the penalty. I don't think he should be allowing him to come inside there. But Toffee to leave that ball, and you're thinking 2-2, 15 minutes to go. I think the commentator on the stream that everyone was watching said that they had 80% possession in the second half. They didn't. They didn't have 80% possession. The second half possession was 66% to 34, and it was 66 right then because I checked it at the time, and it wasn't 80%. So, but we were under the cosh at that moment. We really were, and I think a lot of people felt like if anyone was going to win it, then it was Crystal Palace. They were in the ascendancy. But listen, great bit of play by Decore. We kept the ball alive. We just hadn't been keeping the ball alive. We'd been giving it away far too easy. Just giving it back to them. They were recycling all the time, putting it in the box, keeping us under pressure, trying to force a mistake. They forced a mistake for the Tarkowski one. Well, they didn't really force it. Zaki just made the mistake. Let's get it right. He just made the mistake, and he'll know that. He'll have known that straight away that he's made a mistake in that position. He's a centre back. You just get rid of it. You can't pick holes in that and go, oh yeah, but the goalie might have. Doesn't matter if the goalie shouted or not. If you've got a chance to head the ball away, you just headed the ball away. But as I said, we just couldn't keep hold of the ball, and then for that one moment, for the leading up to the goal, we did. We worked 3 passes together. Decore finds Garner. He puts a really good touch in for his first, just to take him inside and get him away from the defender. And the second touch, he puts it into the corner. And it's a really good goal, to be fair. For someone, every time he gets the ball and looks to shoot, we as a fan base just cringe and to put that ball in the back of the net right then in that moment, and then to pull out the Danjuma Cobra, the Cobra celebration, almost like saying that should be in, putting that in, We kept going, and fair play, because at that time, you're hiding behind the sofa, aren't you? Or the fans in the away end are really, thinking, is it going to be one of those days where you've seen, it was a journey just to get down there. It was a journey to get down to London with everything going on in London. So again, they've braved that. They've braved getting down to Crystal Palace, and to see us get the goal, and then it goes off for the 8 minutes. And to be fair, in injury time or stoppage time, sorry, I think we dealt with it really well. I thought the 8 minutes passed by without too many incidents. There was a couple of little scrambles, but nothing really clear cut. And we've got the win, and it's a fantastic win. 2 wins back to back away from home with a Brighton draw in the middle. Again, that sequence where you're thinking, it's going to be tough games here. This gap between the last international break and this has been fantastic, really. Lost the Merseyside derby, of course, but there was circumstances behind that, and we all know what they were. But that's, we're up to 14 points, up to 14th. So we're over after 12 games. So we're obviously above a point a game, and we just keep this momentum going. We should have a carefree season, really. There'll be moments, of course. December is when you look at it on paper. But if you looked at this month on paper, this month looked really bad. These 2 away games, the game against Brighton at home, the Merseyside derby. But I think to get 7 points out of those games, I think is a really good return. And obviously Bournemouth before that, going through in the League Cup, it's been a really good turnaround from obviously the start of the season, which we all know was really bad. And again, the manager has frustrated me a little bit today with the subs, but again, he'll say, well, it's worked, hasn't it? He brought a sub on half time and he scored the winning goal. So at the end of the day, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and it's worked in the 2 away games. And last week was really frustrating, but we didn't really. It didn't really bother me that much last week, because I just thought a point was a fair result. But to be honest, today I really did think, like, not massively, but I think Palace were the better team. But so to get away, as these things balance themselves up, don't they? We get a draw last week where a lot of people probably thought we should have done more, and we only had 80% possession. Today we're in the heady heights of 34% possession, and I've scored 3 times. So we've had 4 shots on target, and we've hit 3 of them in the back of the net and 3 off target. So can't ask more than that. We've got Manchester United next to home, who aren't exactly flying, are they? So things are looking up. Players all look like they're behind. Listen, I mean, I'll go over it more in my player ratings, but there weren't that many individual performances today that stood out, really. There wasn't that many players. You go, I had a really good game. It's a mad game, because you can't really point to one of our players and go, he had a really good game in today. Apart from Mikalenko, who had a decent game, I can't really think of anyone who had a particularly good game today. And yet we've won the game 3-2. We've been in front 3 times. We've held on for an away win. They're the kind of wins that in previous years we just haven't managed to get over. Or if it got to 2-2, they've got the winning goal because we fell to bits. They're the ones, as a fan, I suppose. And it's not just over, by the way, it's not just in the last 2 years. This is in the last 7 or 8 years. They're the games where we have the mental toughness to go on and win them. And I think in the end, we did have the mental toughness to go back again. We've had that. And I think, I suppose, as a fan, I think for a lot of us, that's where we have got to look at it and go, right, okay. And we've shown this in away games. It's not a new thing, by the way. We've shown this in away games, haven't we, under Dyche? We've shown this quite a few times now, where you might go behind or you might get pulled back. I mean, go back to Chelsea that season, 2-1 down with 8-9 minutes, and you're just thinking they'll get a third and this game will go nowhere. Or Palace when it went to 1-1, Forest, sorry, when it went to 1-1. You're looking at those games and you're thinking, we'll get beat here. Or is there that mental toughness? Even this season, going behind the 2-1 to Sheffield United, even though that's not a very good result, to go behind 2-1 and have the momentum against us, and then pull it back. When Brentford scored to make it 1-1, there's another one. When Villa got their first goal in the cup game, these are the moments, aren't they, that I think as a fan base we've been used to in the last few years, going, this is it, this is when we'll fall apart, this is when we'll concede 2 back-to-back really, really quickly. And that seems to have gone now. There is a mentality there now, I think, amongst the players. Is there the quality there? Not through the squad, anyway. Definitely not through the squad. But it's hard-pressed to pick that many players today that you can go, he played really well today. There are players you dug in, don't get me wrong. There's players you dug in today. But there's not that many players you go, he had a really good game, or he had a really good game. So to go away, win, score 3 goals, get 3 points, That's massive now. That's massive, and we can all enjoy these couple of weeks off, can't we? Knowing that you look at the table and you think, yeah, that's probably where you would have wanted to have been around this time of the season anyway. Yes, you can look back and go, oh, if only those first, well, 3 of those first home games, you can look at them and go, if only we'd picked up 6 points out of those games, which we probably should have. You look at it now and think, right, well, look at the bottom. There's 8 points between us and Luton, and there's 10 points between Burnley, Sheffield United. You look at those numbers and think, keep doing what we're doing, keep adding the points. Like last week's point, okay, it's disappointing for a lot of people that you concede that late in the game, but if you're picking up those points and you're just adding to it, it ain't going to be long before we're in the 20s, and when you're in the 20s, you're looking at the 30s, and then you're going, well, so, and that's when everyone relaxes, isn't it? That's when everyone relaxes, and we've already won 3 away games this season. You know, that's huge as well for a team that's not used to winning away games. 6 wins in our last 9, I think it is, according to the comments there. That's massive. That is massive. Quiets down all the noise. Says to everyone we're going in the right direction. The next phase of it is literally just getting over this commission and hoping. I mean, because, yeah, that's why I'm literally saying 14 points. But get over this commission, and as long as that commission, listen, hit us with a massive fine, but don't give us a points deduction, please. But if we can get through that commission, and we sort out the ownership, whatever way that goes, and everything starts to quiet down, people can start going and matching, and more people are going to match and enjoy it. Don't get me wrong. More and more people are going to match and enjoying it. But if more people go to match and enjoy it, and everyone chills out a little bit when they're at the game, and people look at away games and think, we can win this. We can definitely win this game because we've seen us win in other games. It's improving all the time. And fair play to the manager. Fair play to him. I give him a bit of stick at the beginning of the season. Certainly going into that game certainly going into like the Bournemouth game when we'd lost 4 home games in a row, and I was sick to the back teeth of hearing about XG. Which according to Kevin Felwell isn't the important one. It's XG difference, which is the important one. But fair play, the manager has galvanised this team, and he's organised this team, and we're going in the right direction. And that's all we could have asked for, isn't it? That's all we could have asked for. When you look at, certainly in the summer, people said to me, you're not Evertonian, said, oh, add you down for relegation this season. It was like, I don't know why. That was in the summer after the first 4 home games. Maybe they would have looked at it, but I think our performances certainly have picked up massively, and we look a tough team now. We look a tough team, and that's the most important thing. And this next set of games is obviously packed, and the manager will have to make changes, and he will have to start using that squad, and he will have to start looking at Danjuma, and he'll have to start looking at playing Patterson, and Seamus Coleman will be back, and bringing maybe Garner in for games, and but that'll sort itself out. That will all sort itself out next month. So there you go. Brilliant victory. I'll be back shortly to do my player ratings for today, which is going to be a tough one, actually. It is going to be a tough one. But I'll be back to do that. Make sure you check out Baz's videos as well, and enjoy your evening. See you later.